Siyanamkela kwakho kwinkqubo yethu yosuku namhlanje VOB Voice of the Bay. Good evening once again and welcome to your favorite talk show on channel 260. That is your VOB Voice of the Bay with myself, Percy M. Tonight I have a number of guests. The first one are coming from the ANC Youth League of Nelson Mandela Bay. That is Mr. Luzuko Peter, who is the chairman of the ANC Youth League, according to their conference which was held over the weekend at Feather Market, not at Feather Market, at City Hall. And he is not alone, he is with the regional secretary of the ANC Youth League, Zitobile Bafo Faltin, who is the secretary of the ANC Youth League. Remember, there were two conferences over the weekend. The other one elected their own leadership. The other group of the ANC also elected its own leadership. Now we are going to welcome and talk to them. Mhlekazi Peter Maskwamkele, good evening and welcome, and you, Mhlekazi Ufaltin.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Guys, tell us exactly what is happening. Why there were two conferences of the ANC Youth League in this region over the weekend?
So, greetings to you, good Percy. Greetings to your viewers. There were two conferences this weekend as a result of deliberate ignorance from the PEC and NEC. Here you had a structure called RTT, Regional Task Team of the ANC Youth League, which was highly because of their Congress preferences. So then one structure was operating in its own, one structure was operating in its own. The role of a task team is to convene a Congress. So they were divided by the time they were in a task team.
Even the RTT?
The RTT, it was divided in its operations. Now this was brought before the attention of the provincial secretary. The provincial secretary ignored it deliberately.
Why?
Because the complaints were not coming from the people that he preferred in Nelson Mandela region.
Okay.
So there were factions in political terms. There was a faction of a coordinator who goes by the name of Yandisa Chubas, who was mobilized and fundraised under a name of Comrade Sabelo Nkohlu for a regional congress of the ANC. But on the other side and other RTT members were not supporting the name of Nkohlu. And therefore,
what are they supporting? Who are they supporting?
Bafo is here, is going to speak. Otherwise,
no, you have mentioned the name of Nkohlu.
Yes.
Yeah. Who are you supporting?
We are supporting the status quo. We are saying the status quo should remain
of the ANC in this region. So you are for the
current
Babalwa Lobisha?
Yes.
Why are you so scared of mentioning her name?
I'm not.
Yes, I understand you are saying this, you are supporting the status quo, yes, but you are so afraid.
I'm not scared. I'm not shying away from supporting Comrade Babalwa Lobisha.
It's fine.
If there's anyone in Nelson Mandela region who pronounces the name of Babalwa Lobisha is me. Let's
go back again to the conference. Why there were two conferences? You are explaining that.
Because now the coordinator, because he had a preference and was working together with the provincial secretary, she saw it fit to manipulate and institutionalize manipulation of processes. She went on only to convene 6 AGMs around Nelson Mandela region. And those AGMs, by the way, were not correcting. She did not come to our branches. She did not come to our AGMs. But you would have a certificate today that says the audit has passed. Comrades, go and convene your Congress. The certificate is passed, has passed and was successful based on the number of registered branches, but it did not follow the due process in terms of the roadmap of a Congress. It did not convene branches in all other branches. You only convened in 6, and they convened AGMs in 6 branches, and they did not correct.
Okay.
And then we cried as branches to the other leadership. We said, comrades, we need an AGMs to come and sit and convene in our branches.
Fine. Who opened officially your conference?
It's the most braver. It's the young people. It's the young man who goes by the name of Comrade Feng. He's militant, he's a youth leader, he's a young lion.
Is he a PEC member?
He's a PEC member, Comrade Lucanio Frank Biz. Very brave one, he's courageous. He's one person in that PEC who stood for truth.
Okay, let's talk to the regional ANC Youth League Regional Secretary. Mhlekazi Faltin, is there anything that you would like to add that resulted to the two conferences which were held over the weekend?
I think sokoqala mangithatha lithuba ngibulise to the viewers of the bay kuphesi lento ithethwa ngusihlalo wabantu abatsha kule region yalapha kuLikadalimpoka. I think uzamile ukucoverisha izinto ezininzi, because in one word there was a ignorant, there was a third hand in our process of the ANC Youth League in the region. If we are kumbula at the time that besilapha before, you highlighted, but there was a voice note that was circulating that divided us. So iyakuchazela that ba iPEC bisoyika ulfefe to take the right decision. iNEC bisoyika ulfefe to take the right decision. Because Comrade Ilfefe, you must remember, it's an NEC member and is in the working committee. I don't know what is their accord in the national space, but even the time that there was a conference here last week Friday, SG was here. But we used to as RTT and stop the conferences and try to seek what is happening in Nelson Mandela region. Which is now, that's why namhlanje sisithi ba yes, what the structures that are what the structure that is elected by the branches of the ANC Youth League, and we are confident and we are going to operate direct from the branches. Even today, Comrade Malachi, the one that we called, but only person that is the ANC Youth League in this region that we are going to listen is Comrade Malachi when he comes here. The reason for that, SG, just because it's a friend of Lufefe Mkoto, they abuse their friend, they abuse their powers just because of a friendship, and they compromise the organization.
Let's look at the meeting that is currently underway at Kalata House. That meeting, it involves the national leadership of ANC Youth League. The president is the secretary, even the PEC members. Why are you not there?
It is not a secret that the provincial secretary, Comrade Francisco, endorsed, and the SG, by the way, endorsed the other conference, the other guys, endorsed the conference of Sandiso, endorsed the conference of Uyandis. They endorsed because it was part of the accord that Bafo speaks about. Now we are saying, Tina, we are a direct product of branches. And we're not going to relinquish our powers that were given by the branches in terms of leading this region. We were given direct powers to operate in this space by branches of Nelson Mandela region. Now, the point we're trying to drive and the attitude we're doing is to say, if leadership wants to speak to us, they're going to come down and resolve this political crisis that is seen, that is observed and known by everyone. They should come down here. We're no longer writing to them. We've been writing to them. They've been ignoring our emails. Now they're going to act. They are going to take power from up, down. They're going to come to branches because every member is belonging to a branch. And the branch is the basic unit of the organization.
Because my worry, how are you going to work with the PEC? How are you going to work with the PEC as you claim that you are a product of the branches and the regional leadership? But we will talk more about that just after the commercial aid break. Mr. Peter and you, Mr. Faltin. Let's go for a commercial aid break. Sibuyele kakhona sinamkela kwinkqubo yethu i-VOB. Good evening once again and welcome to your favorite talk show on channel 260, that is your VOB. Masikwamkele kwakho mhlekazi uPeter and you mhlekazi uZithobile Bafo kwinkqubo yethu. Namhlanje you have invited the media. You have invited the media at Florence Matomela. Tell us, why did you invite media while you have a chance of talking everything over the weekend?
So, we had a conference on Friday, 29 November 2024. We elected a leadership. We drafted our policy framework, our guidelines, our Congress declarations when it comes to politics of Nelson Mandela regime. And then we went on yesterday to sit our first REC meeting. We resolved on the program of action. We felt it the need that we should invite the media to come and listen to our program of action, such that when the term ends, when our term ends, we would be judged by our program of action. So we needed to bring everyone into confidence that we are the leadership they deserve. We are the leadership that was elected by branches, because the question of two congresses is known by everyone. The question of who's the legitimate structure is known by everyone. We had to address those situations by writing a statement and taking questions and clarity-seeking questions from the media. That is what we've done today. Everyone that was there.
As the secretary, the person who will be in charge of the daily operations of the ANC Youth League, just give us the highlights of your declarations.
Okay, our declarations in our Congress that we set on Friday, we declared that Comrade Babala Lobishe must come back as the chair of the region. Comrade Simphiwe Chaka must come back as the secretary of the ANC Youth League. Comrade Mini, Luvuyo Mini, must come back as treasurer. The discussion of young people on that Congress agrees that let us have the face of young people in that structure. And we agree as branches that Comrade Matiwana must be the deputy secretary of the ANC. We as a structure, we have the responsibility to lobby the branches of the ANC. Currently, our program is to partake and prepare the BGMs of the ANC and sell our views to the branches of the ANC. At the very same time, keep on organizing the structures of the ANC Youth League. You must remember, most of the delegates from the conference that were seated were the members of the ANC, are part of the BECs of the ANC. So it gives us an opportunity to raise our interest from the branches of the ANC. So our declarations is from now going forward, we have the responsibility to engage the branches.
About
the Lababala Lobishe, Comrade Chaka, Comrade Matiwane, Comrade Flesh.
But leadership, I don't hear you talking about the challenges that are facing young people. The main focus of your conference, seemingly, it was about protecting the status quo of the ANC in this region.
Sorry, please. I think the term you're asking the declarations. So the declaration of the conference. Nee.
So
about the leadership of the ANC.
The declarations of the conference.
Yes, regarding to the.
What will be your mandate?
Yes.
Your main focus of
and
your.
Again, on that, we raised and we discussed. That's why the chair, the time you said that we're having the discussion document where we speak about the crime, unemployment, a lot of challenge, especially the unemployment and the crime here in the region. That was our main focus of discussion in that Congress. And then we agreed that even with the opportunity now, we have the MMC that is is coming from the ANC, from the safety. We have the responsibility to engage and present what we're discussing in the conference. So in terms of the programs, we have discussed and then we agreed. And as a REC, we have the responsibility again to have a days and then engage and develop a time frame of those programs that we discussed in the conference.
Your input?
Yes, so Butpesi, let's start here. It's correct that we did allude to the conference conference documents. There were discussion documents there. Those discussion documents speak unto the issues that are grievances of young people in Nelson Mandela region. One, the issue of unemployment. And we spoke about the issue of governance. We appreciate the fact that the African National Congress is now having an executive mayor of its own. And part of having one of the benefits of having that executive mayor who goes by the name of Babala Lobishi, she went onto the municipality and tackled the challenges and the discrepancies that exist within the system of EPWP, which speaks unto youth unemployment. She addressed it, she expanded the program, and even removed the faces that were of some sort of an impediment to progress, that were counter-revolutionary to progress of the space of advancing, of resolving the issue of unemployment. Two, we said as the ANC Youth League in that Congress to say we are going to form relations with the private sector, because in Nelson Mandela region you must appreciate the fact that you are in an industrial zone. For instance, from the cluster that I come from, you have a Perseverance. In Zolangeni, they have Volkswagen and others. Motherwell, they have Kucha, they have those. Every place, every corner of Nelson Mandela region does have a private sector. We are going to create relations with the private sector by speaking to the business chamber. To the business chamber, we are going to highlight the challenges that we find within the private sector. One is the question of insourcing. Our young people, when they are employed in these big factories, they are not directly employed by the companies. They are employed by an outsourced company, which is some sort. It is a disadvantage to them, because sometimes they are being exploited by these external these outsourced companies.
It's a pity we are running out of time, but as much as you are articulating these good things, my worry is the PEC doesn't recognize you, because the mere fact that you are not invited in today's meeting at Kalata House.
So
the situation is very toxic. It's very toxic. How are you going to operate under these circumstances?
it is a foreign tendency in the ANC that leaders of the PEC or upper structures are operating, are not different to oppressors. Because now we're being vindicated, we're being purged for a view that we did not say, we said we are not supporting. We are isolated from the programs of the African Union.
Are you prepared to meet with the PEC of the ANC?
Even if you are at any given moment, we are not scared of them. We can meet with them even today. Even if they call us now to come and meet with Colin there, we will drive. We're not scared.
What if they don't call you?
We are going to continue with the program that we get from branches.
You must remember, Pupesi, what your Comrade Chair is saying. Our program speak to Nelson Mandela, speak with the activism in the region. You must remember that when you see the leadership of last week Friday, is the leadership that the time that we were busy with campaign, were there. The time the ANC get to 2% increase in terms of the voter turnout in this region, were there. So it tells you that in terms of the activism, we are not going to stop just because the PEC does not recognize it.
Let's leave it there for now. We will try our level best to reach out other leaders and hear what they are saying about this situation. But we thank you very much for making time, guys.
Thank you very much, please.
Sabaleka sengasevenkileni eveni kwevenkile Advocate Darling Mpofi. Sinamkele kwakho babukeli benkqubo iVOB. Good evening and welcome once again. Now we are joined virtually by Advocate Dali Mpofu, who is the member of the MK Central Command. Good evening and welcome to Mpuma Kapa TV on Voice of the Bay with myself, Percy M. Advocate Dali Mpofu.
Good evening, Percy M, and good evening to your viewers.
Advocate, understand that your organization is currently busy now with the build-ups towards the 15th of this month. Over the weekend, you were busy with the build-up at Vosloorus. Take us through to your build-ups across the country.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, these are indeed, as you correctly say, build-ups to the big one, which is going to be on the 15th of December, which will be followed by a gala dinner on the 16th of December. That is the actual first anniversary date, as you know. These build-ups were conducted over the past weekend in Vosloorus, which was the one that kick-started the program. Massive turnout addressed by the President and Commander General of MK, President Jacob Zuma. And then there was another one in Mpumalanga on the following day, and another one in a region called Ilembe in KZN. And one of the reasons we concentrated on these three provinces is that at the same time, we were also thanking the voters who came out in their numbers in those three voting provinces to give us the highest number in KZN, official opposition status in Mpumalanga, and quite a similarly good showing, I think number 3 or number 4 in Gauteng.
Advocate, as you will be celebrating your first anniversary, can you just share with us your successes or achievements over this period of 12 months?
Yes, no, thank you very much. I think even our most negative critics will agree that the introduction of the MK party into the political scene in South Africa was a game changer. It changed everything. There's not a single political party that can say it was not affected by this. So that's the first thing. I think the dramatic announcement that was made on the 16th of December 2023 by President Zuma really shook the political landscape. Then, as you know, there was a series of legal challenges to the existence of MK, which were all unsuccessful, thankfully, starting with challenging the registration of MK by the IEC to the challenging of the name itself and the logo. And then, of course, after that, there were it was the campaign itself, which was quite successful in the sense that for the first time in the history of South Africa, a new entrant party received almost 15% of the vote. That beat all records. You'll remember that in 2009, I think, the new entrant then was COPE, and people thought it was a great achievement that it had achieved 7% of the vote in its first attempt. And here we are, we more than doubled that.
The thing that I would like to know from you, would you see as the success the decline of the EFF electorate across the country? Would you say it's one of your successes over this period of 1 year?
No, certainly not. Remember that the party that we were targeting, that we wanted to decline significantly, was the ANC. That is the major success. The fact that the ANC moved from 57% to 40%. I mean, that's a historical drop. There was no intention to drop the EFF. On the contrary, we would have wanted the EFF to perform almost as well or even better than MK. That would not have been a problem to us. Because we wanted what we regard as the progressive organizations put together to get close to 30% or more. Because if let's say we got 14% and the EFF also got 14%, then the ANC would have been around about 35% or less, which is really what we were targeting. So on the contrary, we were hoping that the EFF would perform well, MK would perform well, the PAC would perform well, because then they were still part of our broader caucus, UDM, the ATM. So all those parties combined, we were hoping would have achieved about 30 or more percent. Unfortunately, we fell short. Combined, we were at about maybe 25-26%.
And once again, advocated that after these celebrations this year, your focus will be 2026. What is your plan of Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality? What is your plan for 2026 local government election?
Well, we would like to perform extremely well in that particular municipality, but because Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality is the most industrialized area in the Eastern Cape. It is the most populous, and it has, a history. Fortunately, when I was still in the EFF, I campaigned specifically. I was deployed at the Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality to campaign in 2016. And at that time, it was unthinkable. People thought it was what we were saying, we are here to make sure that the ANC doesn't receive 50%. And, the people of the ANC that we were campaigning against were laughing it off, thinking that this was unthinkable. And we achieved it. We managed to bring the ANC in Nelson Mandela Bay below 50% for the first time in 2016. And of course, since then, they never achieved that 50% plus one mark. So with now the introduction of MK, the ANC's fortunes are even going to be doomed even more. They'll be lucky to get anything above 35 or 30%. And Nelson Mandela Bay.
We've got only one minute, advocate. This plan, because your party is not visible. It's not visible, and there are no people.
Structures.
Yeah, there are no structures, and yet there is no leadership that is known by the people of this region. How are you going to achieve that? Are there any people who are showing any interest in MK party in this region?
Oh yes, yeah. No, look, it's don't be fooled by the fact that as a new party, obviously we couldn't spread because of lack of resources and other issues. We couldn't spread through all the provinces, and we were not able to campaign throughout. But the plan, particularly for next year, is going to be to go very strongly into particularly the Eastern Cape and Limpopo. And as I said, within the Eastern Cape, Nelson Mandela Bay is already a point of weakness for the ANC. Remember that the only metropolitan council that the ANC holds is Buffalo City. So yes, we are going to. We have people that we have identified as leaders. All that will be unveiled next year. And we're going to be there almost week in, week out, creating our structures. By the end of 2025, those will be intact. And come 2026, we'll make a great showing in the elections.
Let's leave it. Our advocate, Dali Mpofu, as a member of the MK Party Central Command. Thank you very much for honoring our invitation, Advocate. Wish you all the best. Sibuyile kwakhona sinamkela kwinkqubo yethu iVOB Voice of the Bay. Kanti ke mbukeli apho ekhaya ngaleli thuba sinazo indwendwe zethu umhlakazi Odwa kaDugu kwakunye naye umhlakazi Fikile kaDesi. Umhlakazi Fikile kaDesi uyinxalenye yekomiti ejongene nolwaluko apha kule nqila kaMandela. Umhlakazi uDugu yena ungumhlali notato walusileyo bakunye nathi sizawuncokola ke ngemeko yolwaluko apha kummandla kaMandela. Masinamkele umhlakazi uDugu nawe umhlakazi uDesi.
Nkosi kakhulu siyabulela kuba usibizile nathi ke siyavuya into kokusibe nethuba sizothetha nababukeli benkqubo yakho.
Nkosi kakhulu umjeli bebhanqa. Let
nami ndizibulisele msasazi wami sibulela kakhulu elixesha usiphelona libaluleke kakhulu kumazibazana nabantu abolusileyo neefemeli ezolusileyo.
Okwam ayikokwam ukuthetha nini endingathanda into kokuba nithethe nababukeleyo nesizwe nje gabalala kwilizwe lonke kwihlabathi nje ngemeko yolwaluko apha. Manikezele kuwe mzali Mhlekazi Odwa.
Nkosi kakhulu Besaido nababukeli bakho. Ingxaki sinayo ingxaki epha ehlathini apho kanye abantwana bethu sibathumele khona. Uyakhumbula ke sithumela abantwana bethu ehlathini. Ihlathi asiyondawo yokuhlala abantu tatudesi. Ihlathi yindawo yezilwanyana. Kodwa ke kuba thina abantu abamnyama ngakumbi ingcaka sana amaXhosa. Xa sisakha umntana oyindoda simakhele ehlathini. Uyaphuma apha ekhaya ayokwakhelwa ibhoma lakhe asetyenzwe phaya afundiswe. Yilento ke sithi xa sibiza sithi initiation school. Kusesikolweni phaya kuyofundiswa. Iqala ke lento kule ndawo azawufikela kuyo ehlathini. Elahlathi sithetha ngalo lilapha eMagxaki apha kanye eNelson Mandela Bay lihlathi elikhulu kakhulu. Kulapha abantwana bethu sibashiya khona. Sibashiya ke kutata esithi ngamakhankatha. Kodwa ibambi into esiyifumanayo xa siphaya. Mna mntu uhamba ihlathi every day phisi. Sifika phaya amadoda yanxila aselutywala phakathi kwabantwana bethu. Amadoda yalwa akhuphelana imipu phambi kwabantwana bethu. Amabhoma abantwana bethu la akhiweyo akhiwe close to izindlu. Uthi xa ungena phaya ehlathini nangamabhoma asekhona apha. Umuntu lapha eMagxaki ongumama oqhoma impahla uyababona nabo bakhwetha. Akukho mbeko kwisiko lethu, akukho sidima kwisiko lethu. Uyayibona nje into yoba ngoku yonke lento yenziwe apha yenziwe ngokungakhathali. Imeko yotata abangenayo phaya ehlathini phesi ayithandeki kakhulu. Ukuba unoya phaya uzibonele ubona otata benxibe ivest, otata benxibe oshoti nebhemuda besithi bayobona abakhweka. Umkhwethe xa yobonwa indoda ehlathini, indoda yombatha. Indoda inxiba umnqwazi okuthiwa sisankwana. Indoda iphatha induku xa isiyapha. Yiloo nto umama lo uzelela intwana yolukileyo kuthiwa xa ibizwa lizibazana uyabhinqiswa. Kuthiwa uyabhinqa ahloniphe lo mcimbi azawenza ngakumbi xa zawuphekela ikwela. Thina botata yintoni lingxaki kuthi into yoba singakwazi ukuthi xa siyobona abantwana sambathi, ngoba ithi inkolo yethu singabantu abamnyama bawudesi abantwana phaya siyobaluleka, abantwana siyobafundisa isintu. Ndike ndathi xa ndithetha ndathi umntana ongumkhwetha osihlathini funeka afunde yonke into ngoba indlu yakhe yokuqala yileso mshiya kuyo pha. Xa laa ndlu ibhudlwa ngumoya funeka unyana wam akwazi ukuyilungisa ngokwakhe. Xa ingenelwa ngamanzi endlini funeka unyana wam akwazi ukunqanda la manzi. Xa kukho umlilo phaya funeka unyana wam akwazi ukucima laa mlilo.
Masibamba apho. Inkosi kakhulu ngale nkcazelo intle. Mhlekazi uDesi, ndiqinisekile nani nazi ingxaki eziqhubekayo. Zikhona izinto ezintle eziqhubekayo. Kodwa ke ndingathanda ungenelele njengomntu ojongene nale meko yolwaluko phambi kokuba siye ngasevenkileni.
Qala mandibulele le nkcazelo ivela kumntakaDugu. Sifuna abazali abanje abazakwazi ukuma bayiqinele into abayibonileyo engalunganga. Okokuqala zonke ingxaki ebezikade zikhona apha eNelson Mandela Metro ezidibene nolwaluko, uninzi lwazo kuthe kwabe kulungiswe le legislation igovernisha ulwaluko ngoku, zatsho zatshintsha izinto ngoba sihlangana sonke, abeSuthu sikunye, amaHlubi sikunye, amaXhosa sikunye. Iingcibi zamaXhosa zinekhaya elibizwa ukuba kwaZakwasa. Iingcibi zabeSuthu zinerhanya yabaSuthu, ngokunjalo. Laa nto ke ngoku isinika igunya lento yokuba aba bantu baqeqeshwe, banikwe zonke izinto ezumntu akaTugu athetha ngazo, kangangento yokuba ingcibi nganye inekhankatha layo esebenza ngalo. Xa iphuma umntana ebheka ehlathini, yiyo efuneka iqiniseke ukuba lo mntana une-treatment ayityayo. Njengoba uyazi uba ibikade into ohlekisa umntana otya i-treatment, yaphela loo nto. Ngenxa yantoni? Ngenxa yemfundiso kula makhwenkwe alukayo, into yokuba umntu akazoyiyeka i-treatment yakhe ye-TB okanye nasiphini isigulo anaso. I-treatment ayinikwe ngugqirha funeka ayifumane.
Masibamba apho mhlekazi uDesi, sabaleka sengasevenkileni okugqibela siye kwintsimbi yesibhozo, kulapho sawuqwela siqukumbele inkqubo yethu. Masibaleke sengasevenkileni, sizawubuya nalo mcimbi ubalulekileyo, ufundisa isizwe. Venkile. Masinamkele sinibulela ngokuba kunye nathi nakulapha ku last segment yethu yenkqubo ye-VOB siphethe ulwaluko apha kummandla kaMandela. Molo kwakho Mtshilibe Bhanqo, nkosi kakhulu nakuweleta libele khwangeshe.
Kamako.
Khani sichubele.
Khandinike Mtshilibe.
Ndizaku.
Okay. Nansi le ndawo ndifuna ukuyilungisa. Qala abantu xa bengenisa inkwenkwe yabo akukho tywala buyayo phaya, abedla ngokuphatha ngoko ibhotile yokwakha ibhoma. Sayibetha la bhotile, savumelana sonke into yoba la bhotile iphela iba yenye into pha. Kwaba khona izinto zokungena kwebhotile xa kuyokujiswa. Savumelana sonke singabantu baseNelson Mandela into yoba utywala mabungayi ebakhwetheni, abuyi ke utywala ebakhwetheni, kodwa ezi ndaba umntakaTugu athetha ngazo zokungena kotywala kungqayizwe kuyophunyulwa phaya, abanye behamba ngoshoti, andiyazi noba bacimba baseHonolulu okanye bacimba baphi na. Kanti thina siphethe isiko lokwakha amadoda. Xa kuvela kula madoda kuvela amaphara, sizawujika singayazi loo nto. Kanti thina singabantu abangootata sinoxanduva olungummangaliso. Bendisithi ke zonke ezi zinto funeka zenzekile. Uyabona uTata uDugu ngoku njengoba umbona nje, uzambona uzawujoyina iforum, because sifuna abazali abazawukwazi uba babe khona phaa kwiforum bancedise kwenzeke izinto zenzeke. Inkosi.
Mtshilibe.
Presido elokugqibela ukucenga isizwe sonke kulommandla kaMandela ukuthi ubudoda bethu masibukokose, maziphele ngoku izinto zokuba kufuneke sibe senqandana siyewula amadoda amadala emosha abantwana bethu. Noko ayingomkhwa obukekayo. Akuhlanga xa sifike ebakhwetheni sifika ootata bekhuphelana imipu, sifika ootata bemise ngemoto, kuvulwa ibhonethi neebhuti zemoto, kuhlelwe phaa, kubekwe i-cooler box, kuseloni noni phambi kwabantwana bethu. Ngoba abantwana phaya siyobabeka kuba sisithi sifuna babe nekamva elihle. Sicela oomama basincedise, bathethe nootata. Oomama banelungelo lokuya phaa, kodwa sicela oomama naxa bezawucela umntu oomama okuba mabajonge abantwana, mabajonge indoda enesidima ehlathini. Kungavele kuthathwe nje noba ngubani na ahamba ayojonga amakhwenkwe phaa, ngoba kwabona abafana bajonga amakhwenkwe phaa abawazi umthetho wobudoda. sibona xa sipha sibona uba apha konakele apha umfana ubona indlela athetha ngayo nalomkhwetha uqonda uba apha ayikho le okugqibela kube kusiyewulo esikhoyo phaya kwakho amakhwenkwe okanye abakhwetha bebeyofunwa ngamapolisa sikhwanqisile ke loo nto singutata kakhulu savela savalela amapolisa thina ngongazi sathi amapolisa awazokwazi ukungena axela amapolisa banantsi ividiyo yalo mfana ngabakhwetha ababini barobhile berobha kula complex ngapha kwasedwesi ukuphawula into yokokuba bukhona ubuluso obukhoyo xa umkhwetha esibona uba noko ngoku nawo amandlana awele lawola wendlela ayowurobha abantu phaa ithi loo nto phaya ebakhwetheni sihleli namaphara amaphara angazange awufunda kodwa amaphara azokumosha abanye abantwana bapha siyacenga kakhulu kumzi omnyama siyacela koomama siyacela kootata basincedise kakhulu balulekile lo mcimbi ngoba uzawumosha isizwe sethu bantwana bethu mabaphathwe kakuhle ebakhwetheni bangamoshwa sithi singootata lo mcimbi siwuphosa kwakubo phesi sisithi noko siqhoma izandla singootata ootata uDesi bayasebenza bayile phaya besisigqeba bezama ukulungisa lo mcimbi bayatsho nabo eminye imicimbi ngokujikile iqala bungeni umntana onesigulo one-chronic illness kulungile uba makangene nayo asilolishwa akho nto imbi akazokugezelwa ngoba siyayazi uba abantu phandle apha abaphilanga kodwa isizwe simnyama siyasicela asicengi loo nto asicengi ootata mabayeke ukumosha abantwana bethu period ebakhwetheni inkosi ephesayile
Mhlekazi uDesi umsebenzi umkhulu kakhulu niqinisekile akho amazwe ongathanda ukuwabhekisa kubazali emakhaya nakwisizwe nje gabalala ndingathanda sijonge phaa kula camera uzidlulisa umyalezo egameni lekomiti kule meko sizibhaqa sikuyo
egameni lekomiti yolwaluko yalapha eNelson Mandela ekhokelwa nguCouncillor uBuyeye enabo abesuthu amaXhosa nabefundisi nabantu abadala ingwevu sicela kumuntu wonke siyaleleza sisithi Mzontsundu phakamani sakuphalala njengamanzi ukuba ngabana asikwazi ukuyigqithisa into esayinikwa ngoba umkhulu basinika imbunguzulu iliqhayiya lesizwe yilento ke umqhayi athi xa ethetha ngokosiba lwakhe athi lento ndayiva kubawo esithi naye wayiva kuyise ukuba lembiza yomhlonyane ingaze isuke ecaleni kweziko nam sendibaxelele abantwana ukuze nabo baxelele ababo abantwana ukuba lembiza yomhlonyane ingaze isuke
Inkosi kakhulu
Nkosi sizwe sakuwethu
siyabulela sibame ngazo zibini Mhlekazi ufikile kaDesi uleta ulibele ukhwangesha siyabulela nakuwe ubhanqo odwa kaDurhu umtshelibe ubhanqo ngexesha enisinike lona nomyalezo niwuzisileyo eluntwini ngakumbi kwabo bantethu sisixhosa nabanye ke gabalala ndoza kuthi ngolo hlobo nenkqubo yethu iVOB Voice of the Bay ifikelele esiphelweni idinga lingomso kwinkqubela FM ku97.0 from 6 up until 9 kumle kwiveki ezayo sabe ke siqhuba inkqubo yethu yeVOB okugqibela kunyaka u2024 busuku benzolo adios amigos god bless